Ladies and gentlemen, Wade Peary here with another video for Star Spangled Sports. Wanted to check in with you and let you know that Dak Prescott can learn a ton from Mr. Le'Veon Bell. Lev Bell, Dak Prescott needs to look at this case study of Le'Veon Bell and realize that he should never leave the Cowboys. And it is just the biggest example I could ever show Dak Prescott to tell him to not leave the Dallas Cowboys. All right. It's plain and simple, clear as day, right in front of you, Dak. All right. When Le'Veon Bell left the Pittsburgh Steelers, did anyone out there really think he was going to succeed with the New York Jets? I know I sure as shit didn't. All right. The Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line, they blocked incredibly well for Lev Bell. And not only that, Lev Bell's running style is one to where he kind of stops and, really just gets right on the back of his offensive lineman. All right. So that kind of stop and start running style, very, very unique to Lev Bell. And it fit in Pittsburgh, and it fit with those offensive linemen. So my point is Lev Bell left a perfect fit in Pittsburgh. Okay, was he getting a high volume of carries and touches? Yes. Was he getting worn down? Probably. All right. But my point is this. At some point, you have to make the decision of the fact that extra money that you think that you might deserve just isn't worth it, because the New York Jets didn't have an offensive line worth shit. So not only that, Adam Gase is one of the worst coaches in the history of the National Football League. He's an absolute fucking train wreck. He'll probably get fired soon. So Lev Bell talking all the talk of getting his money, I hope it was worth it, all right? I hope it was worth it, because you really ruined your career. You said you have a lot to prove on Twitter. You're goddamn right you got a lot to prove, because I heard in Jets camp that Lev Bell was looking slower than Frank Gore, and that is fucking appalling, because Frank Gore is in like his 30th year in the National Football League. So I just think all those carries over the years for Lev Bell, they really added up. And, he had such a high volume of touches. And I think he just underestimated how good the situation was in Pittsburgh. The grass is not always greener on the other side, Dak Prescott. So you need to look at the Lev Bell case study and just realize that Dallas is the perfect situation for you. You've got all the pieces there. When you go to another team, there are so many unknown variables. You don't know how you're going to mesh with the receivers, coaches. There's a million different variables. To me, that extra money that you're looking for, whether it's $5 million a year, whether it's $10 million a year, maybe you want to be paid $40 million a year. Quite frankly, even if you legitimately deserve the money, it's not worth it, because the success of your on-field football career will be largely determined by all of the personnel on the field for the Dallas Cowboys, and you've got so many pieces already in place. Offensive line, receivers, tight ends, running backs. You got another fucking offensive lineman in the backfield in Ezekiel Elliott, who, by the way, happens to be one of the best running backs in the National Football League. So, to me, Dak Prescott just needs to step back, look at logic here, and realize that the extra money, while it might be good, is just not worth it. Hell, you're making $30 fucking million a year. Last I checked, that's not so fucking bad. That's more than double some of the best running backs in the National Football League. That is a lot of fucking money. So you cannot get greedy in this situation, Dak Prescott. You would be a fucking idiot to go anywhere but the Dallas Cowboys. That offensive roster has been built and built and built over the years with tons of weapons. Do not be a fucking idiot in this situation, Dak Prescott. I beg you, for just football fans in general and just the health of the National Football League and just the health of the Dallas Cowboys roster. Like, it just would be a tragedy if you left the Dallas Cowboys. You need to stay with Dallas, and there's just no question in my mind. Dak Prescott will be making a massive, massive mistake if he decides to leave Dallas. Do not make the same mistake that Lev Bell did, Dak, and let greed fuel a bad decision here. And, you know, Jason Whitlock has talked about on Outkick the Coverage how Dak's agent is partly to blame in this case as well. So the fact that Dak's agent didn't take the $35 million that the Cowboys had on the table, he was trying to gamble for a bigger contract. So to me, part of the blame here definitely needs to be placed on Dak's agent in the negotiation process. So Dak's agent really doesn't need to get greedy in this case, and cool heads need to prevail because, quite frankly, $30 million, it's a lot of money, you know. And you might want Dak, you might want to get the most money ever for Dak, and that's your job as an agent. But you also need to look at the bigger picture and realize that Dak's on-field success at any other place in the National Football League won't be anywhere near as good of a situation as the Dallas Cowboys. So Dak's agent needs to take a step back, look at the big picture with this. Dak needs to take a step back and just realize that, listen, you know, the extra money would be great, but it's just not worth it. It's not. You look at the Lev Bell situation, and it is just a classic case of how players just need to realize that, you know, more money, it's just not worth it. It's not. And you can look at it any way you want, but sometimes the grass is not greener on the other side. Anyways, Wade Peary, Star Spangled Sports. Take care.